Surprised? Yes, Doctor Strange, the actual Marvel movie, got an early release here, and I got the chance to watch it with my wonderful buddy. Thanks for the offer and reminder that this movie exists, you wonderful man, and also thanks for making me look like an idiot for forgetting that this movie just got released, you fat bastard. So how is Doctor Strange? Is it a good movie? Does it have the trippy LSD feel that the trailers have shown to us? Is it just your typical Marvel movie, or is it a movie that will break through the standards of filmmaking as of today? So in Doctor Strange, Sherlock decided to take a break out of beating bodies to taking bullets out of bodies. Not really much of a change of profession, but on his way to go to a party to meet his girlfriend Irene Adler, he gets into a car crash that paralyzes his hands, which doesn't allow him to take bullets out of bodies anymore. So he meets this random stranger who successfully got his legs working back on, and the guy suggested him to go into this place in Kathmandu called Kamartaj to get his hands working back. I wonder when he gets to bump with Tintin. That would be awesome.
Wait, where are you going? Kathmandu! Kathmandu?
In Kamartaj, he meets up with the Snow Queen and his former slave. With the help of both, Sherlock is going to learn magic while also defeat the evil former student of the Snow Queen, Lashif. So how is Doctor Strange? Is it a good movie, a bad movie, a generic Marvel movie, a movie that should be banished out of thin air? Well, I'm not gonna say it out straight, I'm just gonna give you what the movie does. Let's just get to Benedict Cumberbatch's portrayal of Doctor Strange. I'm surprised that he's told to do an American accent for this one. I prefer him just to stick to his British voice, but he does a relatively nice job on hiding his Britishness, and his portrayal as Doctor Strange is a welcome break, even though initially the guy really acts like Sherlock. The character is able to bring the movie along as we follow through his journey on healing his hands. The other characters did their job as well. Chiwetel Ejiofor did great as his partner Carl Mordo, which, if you do a little bit of research, is actually a villain of the series, in which the ending in the post-credit scene confirms it, but he doesn't play the villain, at least for now. He did a good job playing the nice guy for one movie before finally in the next one, he'll probably take a revenge to the slaver. Come on, man, it's like one of the few decent people that actually save you, and now you want to take revenge on him? Give him a break. There are several controversies surrounding The Ancient One by Tilda Swinton, including accusations of whitewashing, which is just fantastic. I really need more controversies right now. But here's the thing, I really don't care as long as the movie makes the character portrayal good, and she's not so bad here. She managed to play the aggressive but kind mentor role for Doctor Strange, despite, the Ancient One being not really a woman. There's a little joke that they play in that Strange mistakes an old Asian dude as the Ancient One. Yes, I know that's Pai Mei and not the actual guy, but just a picture to illustrate my point. This begs the question to Marvel, if you're willing to cast someone who definitely looks like the Ancient One into the movie, why even bother to get Tilda Swinton? Thanks to an interview done to the writer by the former members of Spill, you should definitely check it out, it's great. It is of course thanks to the numbnuts of the mainstream media who will type in words and accuse Marvel of being racist and stereotypical. It is indeed a Kobayashi Maru. You will piss people off no matter how you portray the character. If you portray the Ancient One as he originally is, it would be a racist stereotype, but if you portray the Ancient One as Tilda Swinton, that would be nothing but whitewashing, and that is also racist. The reason why they chose Tilda Swinton, and this is just my speculation, is because China is quite a factor to Marvel's success, and the story is too long, but let's just say that portraying the Ancient One will piss some people off in there. Regardless, these people who get pissy in both sides of the argument can seriously kill themselves. These people are going into blog posts going, "Your comic book accuracy ends where my feelings begin. That's racist, that's stereotypical." Yeah, said by the kinds of people who said that Iron Fist should be played by an Asian dude because, Asian dudes are very good with their martial arts. That isn't stereotypical at all.
I know what you're thinking. Why aren't I Pakistani or some stone dreadlock Jamaican while you're all being racists?
So let's talk about the really damn trippy visuals. Oh my god. If you've seen the trailer for this movie and you're looking forward to get the trippy LSD feel into the movie, this movie gives you exactly that feeling. It's very visually stunning. It's like watching a trippy Teen Titans episode while being in cactus juice.
This is bad. Okay, so it's not all bad.
The visuals actually do help on creating a unique set pieces for the movie to take place and settings that brings a hell of a lot more edge into the MCU. I'm surprised that for a movie based on magic, there are quite a few hand-to-hand fight scenes, and they're all done very nicely. The fight scenes manage to stand out on their own in the Marvel Universe, especially when combined with the unique setting, great visualization, and a spectacular visual direction. It's a visual spectacle that does a marvelous job on presenting it. Just don't see this movie drunk, they're gonna get more mind screwed than usual. But therein lies the problem with Doctor Strange. The story of the movie is where I take huge issues with, and I'm gonna show you a couple of problems that I have. First, the way Doctor Strange finds Kamar-Taj is a bit too contrived, and by the time he arrives in Kathmandu, it's even more contrived. The basis that sets up the entire journey could have been done a lot more convincingly. Second of all, this is a trend that I'm starting to hate in Marvel Cinematic Universes, or even superhero movies in general. Second half climaxes. So instead of putting the intense climax right after the last third of the movie, why not take the entire second half to be a climax? Because that won't make the viewers exhausted at all. Now, don't get me wrong, Civil War and X-Men Apocalypse did this as well, and I like those movies, but they managed to make the early second half battle to be short enough to get some room for decent characterization. Doctor Strange is one where I have a huge problem with, and let me tell you why it is a problem. The character development from excellent neurosurgeon into a sorcerer ends prematurely, which I find bizarre. I don't think Marvel would actually pull this off in the original character movie. At least in Iron Man, Tony Stark successfully builds the Iron Man suit and can actually use it. At least in Ant-Man, Scott Lang has to train himself with Hack-Pym before he can utilize the suit, and even then, he is able to functionally use the suit to fight bad guys. At least in Captain America, you see him actually get buffed up and can actually kick ass. At least Thor can actually kick ass. Doctor Strange is weird in a sense that the movie goes through the first half of developing Strange to a sorcerer, but the development is not completely finished. The second half climax begins and he has to fight enemies that are 10 times more powerful than him, multiple enemies in fact. There's a scene in which an experienced sorcerer gets beaten by the bad guy so easily, but Doctor Strange can somehow get a free pass even though he's like medium tier level at best. Keep in mind that they're the kinds of people that can shape and bend and manipulate reality, while at that time, Strange couldn't even make a basic shield like this, and he gets so lucky on that fight scene to beat up the main bad guy who is obviously more experienced than him. At that moment, he should be nothing but vapor, but the movie gives him a pass because, well, he's the main character. It actually bugs the hell out of me how someone who is not as ready as him managed to get through people who are 10 times more ready than him. There are even moments in which the movie just hand Doctor Strange free powers. The Eye of Agamotto is one of them. He managed to use it thanks to plot convenience. His cape is actually its own character and it is pretty freaking cool, but the cape is a reverse Pokemon and that it only chooses certain people. Why the cape decides to choose Strange?
I don't know why.
So when I don't buy Doctor Strange fighting the main bad guy, how do you expect me to buy Doctor Strange fighting Dormammu? Yes, Dormammu is a bad guy in the movie, oddly enough portrayed by Benedict Cumberbatch as well. Thankfully, this movie pulled a really clever move. The ending of the movie literally pulls a Ray Zero, which I find pretty funny. I'm not gonna spoil it, but the way they did the ending, it's almost like an anime fight scene where one of the characters come in and say, but I know your weakness. You're too fast to even notice your chakra is depleted, so I sneak in and bomb right next to you by the time your chakra shield is gone. It's a very satisfying moment of tactics and wit, which is a nice break out of the completely implausible full action second half battle, which would have made Doctor Strange to say, hey, at least last time it was my freaking hands. This also exposes one of the key problems in the Marvel Cinematic Universes. They're all movies following the same basic 3-arc structure. Don't get me wrong, most movies follow that structure, but the MCU somehow manages to make their own structure to be more distinct than the other movies with the same basic 3-arc structure. So when you see one single hero Marvel MCU movie, you've pretty much seen the rest. In fact, Ant-Man is basically Iron Man. Doctor Strange repeats that basic formula again, and that may make some people sick, and I do understand where people are coming from when they say they're tired of superhero movies. Overall, Doctor Strange is indeed an enjoyable flick with absolute mind screws and great trippy visualization and some funny humorous scenes, but it is still a Marvel superhero movie at its core. The basic superhero premise is there, and I can actually argue that it is done worse than the previous ones on the basis of some very poor pacing, what with the second half climax and everything, and the skill development of the main character ended rather prematurely. If you love Marvel's previous single movies and are not tired of the same plot structure, this movie is gonna be enjoyable, but if you're one of those people that are tired of Marvel's same old formula, this movie is not gonna convince you otherwise. Since this is my review, I'm the one who needs to give Doctor Strange a rating, and in my honest opinion, it is a good time and I spend my money well, but it's not impressive enough for me to make it worth the time and effort to actually go see it. Personally, I'd give this movie a pass. I really don't think it's too great, but to the common people who have a slight interest on seeing the movie, it will definitely be more enjoyable for them. Not for me though. Could be better in so many parts. That's all for the video today. If you like this, you can go ahead and click the like button and subscribe for more if you wish. You can support me on Patreon. and thanks for watching.